Hello, hey BookTube. Welcome back. So the book I'm going to be reviewing today is of course Neil Gaiman's Neverwhere. I finished it on Tuesday. It's pretty amazing. A quick recap about Neverwhere. It's about this guy who falls through the cracks of London and ends up in under London, which is sort of an alternate London, just under the ground, where all of the people and rats and underworlders congregate together in different factions and stuff, and they all have their own little townships, and they have this big market every however so often. He ends up in that world going on this epic adventure with these two or three or four different characters that he knows nothing about, and he ends up working his way through the entire journey and becomes a great hero and basically becomes a protagonist that he's been the whole way through. So Neil Gaiman has this really distinct voice when you listen to him, and it's so clearly and uniquely him. Like the voice in this book is so Neil Gaiman that I actually heard his voice in my head when I started reading it, and after a while that voice kind of fizzled away into my normal head voice that just reads really quickly and then it just gets the information across and absorbed as much as possible. So this book has a lot of my favourite fears, if that's a thing. A lot of it's just in passing, so Neil Gaiman delves into the depths of these psychological issues like depression and making the right decision and doing the right thing and societal problems that we have, and he kind of makes it all really clear in a setting that's really interesting. Some of the things that happen in this book are a little bit hard to follow, but it doesn't really matter. There's so much more to it. Like, you keep reading this book going, oh, that's interesting, there's got to be more about that, and well, there is. It's just not all in this book. You end up questioning reality a little bit, both in the world and in the book. Kind of grasping for sanity and in every direction. Like, you just have no idea what's real and what's not. The baddies are so scary. Creepy. They're super, super creepy. The hired hitmen, the killers, are just super creepy. Like, some of the things that they eat is just horrendous. And where they live, my god, the setting's really cool, but it really, really creepy, really creeped me out. Which is good because they were baddies and they really came across as baddies. One of the guys eats... I don't want to tell you because it kind of ruins it. There's one thing that somebody brings one of the baddies as a gift that kind of really blew my mind as to why he wanted it. I really felt like this guy was just terrible for eating the thing that he ate. If you've read the book, you might know what I'm talking about. It's a very minor part of the book. It's not important, but I really don't want to spoil it for anyone because it was one of my favorite parts of the book. So it gives the impression that anybody can be a hero. You just have to react not negatively to all of the situations that you've been thrust into, just like Richard. So he uses that term again so often. Sometimes there's just nothing you can do, but there is always something he could have done differently, but he chooses not to because he feels obliged, because that's just how his mind works, because he's a hero. He's such a good guy that he doesn't even realize he's being a good guy. That's all that being a hero is reacting proactively towards the situation, whatever that situation may be, and trying for the best outcome to the best of your ability. That's what seems to work for all heroes. So I've come to discover through reading anyway. Also, it kind of delves into the idea that it's okay to be a little bit weird and creepy, and that life's monotony sometimes isn't worth it, so you can embrace weirdness. You go into this world where you feel really uncomfortable and out of place, but then it's really vital to the storyline that this place is as it is. Therefore, it makes it okay. All the weirdness is sort of okay. It's a very sort of pro-life book, so it's about making the right choices, and it's okay to choose insanity as long as you choose life. It's really quite dark and nasty in places, but some of the bad things that happen, you find yourself really grateful that they're happening, so therefore it makes it not so bad. And it's really interesting that you find these horrible, horrible scenes that are just disgusting, and you're really involved in the scene, and then you're happy that it's happening, even though it's so vulgar. If you've read this book and you remember the crow's feather with a little bit of red, that's the bit where I cried. I didn't cry a lot. I was just like, oh god. A sort of seemingly insignificant crow's feather. It really got me, man. I was so just... whew. So the book is sort of oddly liberating and empowering. Like, it makes me think that I'm not as crazy as I think I am, or that even if I am, it's okay. Its undertones are of being different and being weird and being depressed and anxious, and all of that is okay. So overall, this book, although super creepy and dark, just like everybody said it was, really good read, fascinating stuff. It's so slimy that I just want to stay away. I was actually quite glad when the book finished, not because I wanted it to end or anything, or because I wasn't enjoying it, simply because maybe real life didn't feel so bad anymore. Kind of like a sigh of relief. Oh, okay, thank God that's over, everything's okay. So thank you for watching my video. Like if you like it, and subscribe for more. Shake it up, shake it up. Okay, that was terrible. So here's some new rules for my newfound booktube that I'm doing. No singing, okay? Everyone can sing, but I can't sing very well, and I find that highly embarrassing. And limited dancing. So I just did a whole bunch of dancing off routines of how to exit the video, and I just really think that they were terrible. So maybe I will just glide smoothly out of scene, like down like in an elevator. Just leaving. How do I know when I'm out of shot? I'm gonna go watch Sherlock now.